Good day, I'm today's host Hayo. Everyone has human rights and all are born equal, just as what is described in the following song. Let's appreciate human rights for world citizens. A wonderful word, isn't it? However, some tax problem brings hardship to citizens in Taiwan. Dr. Ye Yangchun is a biotechnology expert. He came back to Taiwan because he wanted to serve the country. However, his family was broken and he ended as a tax victim. Let's listen to his story.
2000年的时候开发出了生物晶片的技术，也就是说一片晶片可以诊断出一个人的疾病出来，所以当时是一个非常高的一个技术，高门槛的技术，然后不管在国外或者台湾都非常的热门。那2000年左右，我因为在美国学会了这整套的技术之后，然后我想把它带到台湾来，所以我就在2000年加入了台湾的一家公司，然后把这个技术整套技术带回来台湾，希望增加台湾的竞争力。经过了公司的董事会开会同意了， 请了台湾4大会计师之一做了签证，然后也给了经济部去许可了，这些应走的流程通通走过了，然后我因此而拿到了所谓的技术股 ，OK。但是在2年后，因为我转让了一些所谓的技术股票给其他的人，我就写了一封信给国税局说，我拿到了这些技术股，然后我转让了一些股票，我应该怎么样处理我的税务问题？然后大概1年半之后，国税局就回函，他就说这个不叫做技术股，这叫做薪资所得，好，然后整个我就愣住了哈，因为薪资所得，他就把我领的技术股全部转换成现金，也就是大概1000多万的现金，然后用薪资所得的比例，也就是40%来扣，然后就是要我补400多万的税，那我当时就愣住了，说我大部分的股票也没有卖掉，没有转让掉，所以我哪里有400多万可以缴税？然后我就拿着这个东西，我就跑去跟经济部讲，说经济部，你当时候是核可我是技术股的，是你们先核可的，因为当时的增资是用技术股的方式来增资的，我的部分 ，OK， 然后因为撤掉了，所以就接下来后面公司有几次的增资，因为前面增资的股数撤掉了，所以后面的股数也跟着通通都不一样，所以整个都撤掉了，所以最后那家公司就倒掉了哈，就瓦解了，就没有了。直到现在，我知道还蛮多跟我类似的人在受苦受难中哈。那当然这些人他们的欠税或者是其他的政府的不公义的事情，并不是我们造成的，其实是政府的官员造成的。我真的希望说，台湾的政府能够好好的思考这个问题。毕竟我们大部分的人，好像我这样回台湾来，我们都希望台湾好，都希望台湾更有竞争力在国际上。那我们不是故意要逃税，我们没有这个念头的。所以我觉得，台湾政府的确是应该再需要更大的改革。然后我也期望目前还在受苦受难的朋友能够坚持下去。
The false Tai Ji Men case has also tortured people for 25 years. Here is a brief description.
Can you force auctions, issue unlawful tax bills just for job performance?
Face the people! Revoke them in 5 days! Not guilty! No tax evasion!
In July 2007, the Supreme Court found Tai Ji Men not guilty and no tax evasion.
I can hardly breathe! Stop the execution!
In 2009, the defendants received national compensation for wrongful detention.
Illegal execution!
The Tai Ji Men tax case originated from the criminal prosecution. The tax bills should be revoked as per not guilty ruling from the criminal court.
The Tai Ji Men tax case is a fabricated case. Since its founding in 1966, Tai Ji Men has been tax exempt. Why was it taxed for the 6 years? That was a result of Prosecutor Quan Renho's unlawful prosecution. The National Taxation Bureau issued tax bills based on the prosecutor's illegal indictment without conducting any investigation. So tax bills were issued for the 6 years listed in the indictment. However, both the Supreme Court and Supreme Administrative Court ruled in favor of Tai Ji Men, stating that Tai Ji Men is not a cram school and that the red envelopes from dizi to their shifu were gifts, not tuition. Therefore, Tai Ji Men is tax exempt.
The criminal court made a final not guilty decision. That is, their indictment was totally untrue. That is, they failed to put forth evidence. Tax bills issued without any evidence to justify them, of course, are invalid. They should automatically resolve the case.
However, all of the illegal tax bills for the 6 years based on the false indictment have not been revoked. The Hsinchu branch of the Administrative Enforcement Agency will enforce auctions against Tai Ji Men's property in the Miaoli Mountain area on July 31st.
How can you execute an incorrect judgment? It's like you clearly know a person is wrongly convicted and sentenced to death, and yet you still proceed to execute a person. It's wrong if the government does nothing to correct the mistake. Even more wrong if the government proceeds to execute the person.
We still want to emphasize that Tai Ji Men indeed is not a cram school.
In 1997, the Ministry of Education stated Tai Ji Men is not a cram school. In 2010, during a public hearing, the Ministry of Education again clarified that Tai Ji Men indeed is not a cram school. In 2007, the Supreme Court confirmed Tai Ji Men was not guilty of tax evasion. In its re-examination decisions in 2012 and 2013, the Ministry of Finance also admitted Tai Ji Men is not a cram school. In fact, in 2018, the Supreme Administrative Court ruled in favor of Tai Ji Men again, stating that Tai Ji Men is a manpai of Qigong, martial arts, and self-cultivation, not a cram school. As a result, the National Taxation Bureau corrected the tax amount to zero for 1991 and 1993 to 1996, except for the year 1992. Tai Ji Men was still taxed as a cram school for 1992 on the ground that a final decision on the case was made in 2006. However, the Supreme Court didn't make a decision on the Tai Ji Men criminal case until 2007. How could the Administrative Court make a decision, an incorrect one, before that?
They made a wrong finding of fact. They treated Tai Ji Men as a cram school and taxed Tai Ji Men as one. Since the finding of fact was made on the wrong basis, the laws applied were also wrong, and the court ruling was also incorrect.
Corrupt officials, lock them up!
There is another major violation of due process in the 1992 tax case, contributing to Tai Ji Men's losing the case. The case was handled by the same judge, Zhu Ling Huang, in the first and second trials, and even in the request for a retrial. This violated recusal doctrine.
Judge Shirley Huang was assigned the Tai Ji Men case in Taichung High Administrative Court and proceeded to conduct investigations. Afterwards, she moved on to the Supreme Administrative Court and heard the Tai Ji Men case. Tai Ji Men should at least have the opportunity to request her recusal. Was it impossible to make such a request? Totally impossible. Why? Because the Supreme Court and the Supreme Administrative Court don't hold court hearings. It was a written secret trial, so the case was handled by the same group of judges, running around in circles.
Recusal is required for relief procedures. How could it be fair when the same judge handled the case in two levels of courts? Tell me, how could it be fair?
Besides violating recusal doctrine, seriously violating Tai Ji Men's litigation rights, the National Taxation Bureau was even suspected of concealing evidence during the administrative hearing process. That's outrageous.
They sent survey forms to Tai Ji Men dizi they randomly picked and asked them about the nature of red envelopes. They collected 206 survey forms. All of them stated the red envelopes were gifts. However, the NTB of Taipei determined only 9 of them were gifts. The NTB of Central Area recognized only 5 were gifts. Later, when the control yuan investigated the case, the NTB of Taipei stated all were tuition fees.
That's outrageous.
These all say gifts. Gifts in nature. The others all say gifts too.
The National Taxation Bureau's lie about the case was exposed on June 17, 2010. At a public hearing in the Legislative Yuan, Tai Ji Men dizi showed their survey forms, testifying all of the red envelopes were gifts, debunking the false claim of the Ministry of Finance and the National Taxation Bureau.
And now everyone is here, and all the information and evidence is here. It's spread out all over the floor, and you clearly know that you are in the wrong. What you've said in the past is questionable. But you want to continue to make the same mistake? That's bad. We request that the Ministry of Finance conclude this case in 2 months. Exactly what to do and what are you going to do. Don't delay anymore.
Let the NTB of the central area submit the report to the Ministry of Finance. It's the NTB of the central area. It's not good to let them take full responsibilities. Just report to the ministry. This is all I will say. Okay, we'll do as the Deputy Minister says. We'll send our official report to the Ministry of Finance. Just now we said to dismiss, to revoke. Revoke it? Okay, the Taxation Bureau of the central area will report to the Ministry of Finance.
1 month later, the Ministry of Finance sent letters to legislator Chou Jingtian, Xing Zhetu, and Justin Chao, saying it had demanded the National Taxation Bureau of the Central Area to revoke the execution pursuant to Article 40 of the Tax Collection Act. 4 days later, the National Taxation Bureau of the Central Area in turn sent a letter to the Hsinchu branch of the Administrative Enforcement Agency requesting it to stop the execution pursuant to Clause 3 of Article 9 of the Administrative Enforcement Law. Yet, as of today, the Hsinchu branch still hasn't stopped the execution. Obviously, there are significant problems with the tax bills. Why are they so reluctant to stop the enforcement? Is there any secret behind this?
Why are these illegitimate tax bills issued again and again? Why haven't they been revoked? One of the most important reasons, as we mentioned, could be the so-called bonus that tax officers receive for collecting taxes.
In 2011, I told the finance minister that this case should be closed. But he didn't attempt to resolve the matter the way he would with his own business. After all, he already got his bonus, and the tax is imposed on someone else anyway.
On March 15th, 2019, they announced the list of recommended reward recipients. That was for the Tai Ji Men tax case. March 5th, 2020. That was in 2019. Now it's 2020. Every year, they talk about how to split the money. They still remember it 1 year later. Performance bonus will be split in two. Each gets a half.
You are my eyes, you are my eyes, you are my eyes. All of you are my eyes. Why? Go check it out to see if there's anyone evading taxes. There is a reward up to 4.8 million Taiwanese dollars.
Another 10 years have passed since the Ministry of Finance and the National Taxation Bureau publicly promised to resolve the Tai Ji Men case within 2 months.
Revoke them immediately!
Tai Ji Men has been persecuted by the authorities through unlawful taxation for 24 years. The Supreme Court found Tai Ji Men not guilty of tax evasion or violation of tax codes. The defendants received national compensation for unlawful imprisonment. The Tai Ji Men case was listed by the Control Yuan as a landmark case of human rights violations. But ironically, Tai Ji Men's land was illegally auctioned by the enforcement agency on the eve of the establishment of the National Human Rights Commission under the Control Yuan on August 1st. While the Tsai administration claims to uphold human rights, promote transitional justice, and implement judicial reform, will it truly have the courage to end this ongoing false and unjust case spanning 4 presidencies? Will the government return justice to Tai Ji Men, or will it let this ridiculous farce full of officials breaking the law and covering up for one another tarnish Taiwan's human rights protection and make Taiwan an international laughing stock?
Revoke illegal auction!
The National Taxation Bureau has brought a lot of shame to Taiwan, and Tai Ji Men dizi had a lot to say.
Hello everyone, my name is Shirley. It's my pleasure to meet you online. I had polio when I was a child, and my right leg was atrophied and weak day by day. Because of unbalanced limbs, the spine gets worse and worse. After getting older, my leg and back are sore and painful, and it was getting more and more serious. In 2011, I retired from the workplace due to poor health. After retiring, my colleague introduced me to become a dizi of Dr. Hong Daozi. I hope to practice Qigong to improve my body. Luckily, here, not only the problem of soreness was solved, but also my personality that is easy to be nervous and easy to worry improved. Under the guidance of my shifu's wisdom and of yin and yang, my body and soul are healthy. Therefore, my retirement life is like the second spring of my life. I'm very grateful to my shifu for accepting me as a dizi. A year or two after practicing Qigong, I heard about the persecution of Tai Ji Men case. At first, I didn't believe it at all, and I think it was not possible. It didn't possible. Believe I was a public servant. How can a civil servant persecute the people casually? So I asked the detail of my brothers and sisters who have been practicing Qigong for a long time. I asked them again and again, and I hope that could be a misunderstanding. Unbelievable. That was a real incident. The more I learned about this case, the more I was amazed at the government incompetence and the disregard for the rights of the people. The government can pretend to be deaf and dumb in response to the people's complaints. So, I was even not afraid of wind and rain to shout on Catagalan Boulevard in front of the presidential palace. Unfortunately, no one heard. Oh my God! Tai Ji Men, the group that has been placed by 4 presidents of Taiwan, the group promoting Chinese culture and dedicated to love and peace, was treated so badly by the government. The land of Tai Ji Men was illegally seized, illegally offered of auction, and then illegally confiscated by the government in 2020 after 2 auctions failed. At that time, my heart was broken. So I wrote to the president of the executive yuan. I also wrote to the president of control yuan. However, their replies were all turned down petitions with excuse, and no clear answer was received. This is part of a case that has not yet ended, after 25 years since its beginning. In the ancient Chinese bureaucracy, officers are very powerful. The current Taiwan is not the bureaucratic country, but a democratic country, so government officials must serve the people and relieve the suffering of the people. Although the Tai Ji Men case is left by the previous government and the bad system, but if the current government does not have the sincerity to solve it, wouldn't it be a same criminal system? So I'm here today sincerely calling on President Tsai. I hope you can lead Taiwan to become a country that is truly free and equal and guarantee human rights. I also hope that every government officers can follow the direction that my shifu advocates. Everyone has a conscience, and the world is peaceful. I believe that the society of love and peace is just around the corner. Thanks for your listening.
I am a system designer. For me, the day when the system is successfully launched is as important as the National Day of the country. The Double 10th National Day is a day of celebrating the birth of the country, and it also symbolizes entering the area of freedom and democracy. The Tale of Two Cities say, it was the best of time, it was the worst of time. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. We cannot choose the area in which we live, but in the face of the current situation, we can remain kind and we can continue to battle. My shifu, Dr. Hong, always teach us that we must love the world. Without love, there will be no peace. Peace needs love, and love needs balance. The Dalai Lama said, peace will only exist when human rights are valued. Taiwan is a free and democratic country, but does Taiwan attach importance to human rights? In the Tai Ji Men case, government officials abuse the public power of the state, persecuting the people's freedom of religion and belief for 25 years through illegal taxation and even illegal action of assets in Tai Ji Men. The people are the master of the country, and human rights are the best rights that people are born with. Without human rights, there would be no freedom, equality, fraternity, and no rule of laws. In a free and fair country, human rights will be protected. Therefore, we should not remain silent in the face of human rights persecution. We should defend our human rights until fairness and justice are achieved. In order to genuinely realize the future of social equity, democracy, and freedom, I believe the government should start with conscience, listen to the people's voice, preserve the worth of human rights, and administer according to the law. To achieve human rights, we must work together to ensure that everyone has access to justice and fairness. Thanks.
We hope that this program can arouse the conscience of the government official. With conscience, we can protect human rights of everyone and create a better world.